Welcome to the absolute heartbeat of Formula One, where the drama never sleeps and the grid is shifting before our eyes. We are kicking things off with a massive shakeup at Woking as former team principal Gunther Steiner weighs in on McLaren securing the talents of Gianpiero Lambiase. Steiner insists this is a brilliant long-term play that proves McLaren is building a dynasty by poaching the best of the best from Red Bull.
Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLoom 3-pack screen protector plus 3-pack camera lens protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Next up, we are shifting our focus to the electric future of racing, as Max Verstappen shares his surprise verdict on the new Formula E Gen4 cars. Could this be a hint about where his legendary career trajectory is headed next? Or is the four-time world champion just scouting the competition for a post-F1 life? Stay tuned because his perspective on the technical evolution of the sport is something you do not want to miss. The atmosphere at Red Bull is looking increasingly volatile as we examine the final domino standing between the team and a total collapse. With legends like Adrian Newey and Jonathan Wheatley already out the door, and the eventual departure of Gianpiero Lambiase looming, we're tracking the massive implications of a potential Max Verstappen exit that could leave the championship-winning team fighting in the midfield. Finally, we have exclusive insight from Zak Brown, who is clearing the air on exactly what Gianpiero Lambiase will be doing at McLaren, while shutting down the wild rumors about a Max Verstappen reunion in Orange. Brown breaks down the future of Andrea Stella and even weighs in on the possible return of Christian Horner to the F1 paddock. If you love the high-stakes world of motorsport, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Ever wondered how a F1 team goes from midfield underdog to a championship juggernaut? It starts with the people in the pit wall, and McLaren just made a statement that should have every other team on the grid looking over their shoulders. Gunther Steiner recently weighed in on the massive news that Gianpiero Lambiase, the mastermind behind Max Verstappen's dominance, is packing his bags for Woking to become McLaren's new chief racing officer. Now, let's be real. When you land someone of GP's caliber, you aren't just filling a vacancy, you're making a bold power move. Steiner, never one to mince words, thinks this is a masterclass in long-term strategy. He points out that while Lambiase is technically slated for 2028, we'll likely see him exit Red Bull much sooner. Think about it. Can you really keep a high-performing race engineer in the loop when their heart is already halfway out the door? Steiner hits the nail on the head. In a sport where 99% commitment isn't enough, that transition period gets awkward fast. But this isn't just about one guy. McLaren is systematically raiding the Red Bull camp, having already snapped up Will Courtenay to be their new sporting director. What we are witnessing is the assembly of a dream team. These aren't industry veterans looking for a quiet retirement. These are hungry, elite professionals who know what it takes to build a dynasty. Steiner calls it very, very smart for a simple reason. Talent flows to where the fire is hottest. McLaren isn't the team of the past anymore. They've become the destination of choice. By snagging the best of the best, they are signaling that they aren't just competing for podiums. They are building the infrastructure for total, long-term dominance. It makes you wonder, is this the end of the Red Bull era, or just the beginning of an orange-clad one? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the F1 transfer market, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown. I want to hear from you. Is this poaching strategy the smartest move in McLaren's history, or is it a gamble that could disrupt their current rhythm? Drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. After all, in Formula One, the race is won just as much in the office as it is on the track. Ever wonder what the absolute king of Formula One really thinks about the future of electric racing? Well, Max Verstappen just dropped a take on the upcoming Formula E Gen4 cars that might actually shock you. We are talking about machines designed to push the absolute limits of EV performance. Yet Max, the guy who usually doesn't mince words, has offered a perspective that cuts through the marketing hype. It is not just about raw speed or battery density. He is looking at the soul of the sport. While many are busy obsessing over kilowatts and torque curves, Verstappen's surprise verdict highlights the massive chasm between F1's hybrid power units and the pure electric vision of Formula E. Is it a ringing endorsement or a subtle reality check for the FIA. Either way, it raises a massive question. Can electric racing ever capture the raw, visceral drama that Max demands from a race car? Drop a comment below, and let me know if you think the Gen 4 era will change his mind, or if the internal combustion engine is still the only way to satisfy a true racer's heart. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the shifting landscape of motorsport, and remember, sometimes the most interesting races happen off the track. Think about the sheer dominance Red Bull Racing has held over the last decade. It felt invincible, didn't it? But every empire has a breaking point, and right now, that breaking point is looking more like a complete collapse. We are witnessing the systematic dismantling of a dynasty. It started back in 2023 with Rob Marshall jumping ship to McLaren, and it hasn't stopped since. Losing Adrian Newey and Jonathan Wheatley was a massive blow, but with Helmut Marko and Christian Horner reportedly heading for the exits in 2025, you have to ask, who is left to hold the fort? The final blow on the horizon is the departure of Gianpiero Lambiase in 2027. We aren't just talking about personnel changes. We are talking about the exodus of the collective brain trust that built a machine capable of rewriting the history books. And then there is the wild card, Max Verstappen. Max has never been shy about the fact that he isn't in this for the vanity of records. He wants to race, and if the environment becomes toxic or the regulations just aren't fun anymore, he is gone. We are hearing whispers that he could walk away as early as the end of this season, and honestly, can you blame him? When you take away the engineers, the strategists, and the singular talent who can wring performance out of that car where no one else can, you are left with a massive void. If Max pulls the plug, Red Bull doesn't just lose their champion. They likely fade into the midfield pack for the foreseeable future. This is the end of an era, folks. Keep a close eye on the paddock over the next few months, because the grid as we know it is about to change forever. Do you think Red Bull can survive this exodus, or is the dream officially over? Drop a comment below, hit that subscribe button for more F1 breakdowns, and let me know your take on Max's future. After all, in Formula 1, silence usually speaks louder than the engines. Is the ultimate F1 power move happening right under our noses? Zak Brown is making some massive waves at McLaren, and it all centers around one man, Gianpiero Lambiase. You know him as Max Verstappen's voice in the ear, the steady hand behind Red Bull's dominance. But now, he's headed for Papaya Orange. Brown just confirmed that Lambiase is stepping into a major leadership role on the racing side, and frankly, it's about time. Why? Because poor Andrea Stella is currently doing the work of three people. As Brown put it, Stella is the glue holding McLaren together, but wearing the hats of team principal, race lead, and technical director is a recipe for burnout. By bringing GP into the fold, McLaren is finally lightening that load, and it's a brilliant strategic play. But let's address the elephant in the room. Does this mean Max Verstappen is packing his bags for walking? Brown is quick to shut that down, and honestly, it makes sense. With Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri locked in, McLaren has arguably the best driver lineup on the grid, and they aren't about to disrupt that chemistry. When asked where he thinks Max would end up if he ever leaves the Red Bull family, Brown dropped a bombshell. He'd bet on Mercedes. That's a massive prediction from a rival boss that is sure to keep the paddock chatter alive for months. Beyond the personnel shifts, Brown also took a firm stance against the AB team model that's been creeping into the sport, labeling it unhealthy for the competitive integrity of F1. It's a bold take, especially when he's also extending an olive branch to his old nemesis, Christian Horner. Even after all their history, Brown admits Horner is a phenomenal operator and expects him to land on his feet, perhaps at Alpine. It just goes to show that in Formula 1, the only thing more constant than change is the fact that nobody ever really stays gone for long. So, what do you think? Is Zak Brown building a championship-winning machine, or are these major internal shifts a sign of mounting pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your predictions for the grid of 2026. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button to keep up with all the latest F1 drama. Keep racing.